Last year you parted ways with Rat. Why the decision at the time to leave Rap?
Um, well, to be honest with you, I'm just checking right now to see if I guess they just called me a few days ago. They have 3 shows at the end of May. That it's funny. I'm replacing the guy that replaced me, but they just called me and asked me. They're like, Carlos can't make these 3 shows. Can you do it? And I go, well, let me see what the deals with the Monster Circus dates, but I think I can. So I got to let them know Monday. But we're fine. It was just I just kind of felt like I was starting to get offers to do some shows on my own. Now at the time, it was funny. Just last year, I was working with Gibson guitars. I did 80 clinics for Gibson last year. I was working with Rat. I did some solo shows on my own. Plus, I did some acoustic shows with this girl, Delana. Mm-hmm. So I had all this stuff on my...
Too. ESP.
Oh, yeah, ESP dates. And I'm just sitting there going, like, I'm trying to write music and do, like, some solo recordings on my own. And I'm sitting there going, man, I got to cut some shit out. Like, this is, like, it's crazy. So the Lana thing, I stopped doing that, and then ESP we still do, but I like even still doing the Gibson and Rat. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do both. Right. So I just talked to the guys. I'm like, look, no, whatever, hard feelings, but I gotta go. I want to pursue my own thing. So they said, yeah. As soon as I left Rat, then this thing popped up, Monster Circus popped up, and now I don't work with Gibson anymore. So, because of the economy or something, I don't. Whatever.
Well,
I found out about that gay porn that I did. I don't
it's
know.
all in the swords, right?
Anyway.
Is it true that you're currently reworking some of the songs that you did for Generation Swine before, obviously you left Crew for your next solo CD?
I wouldn't be against it. There's a song that was written during the Generation Swine sessions, and it was called Kiss. This really sounds weird after the last comment I just made. Mm-hmm. It's called Kiss the Sky, not Kiss This Guy, Kiss the Sky. That's my manager's issues over there. Anyway, so we wrote the song, and then it kind of morphed into a song called Flush. But they released it on a box set, and I've always loved that song, always loved the riff, and it was something that I'd kind of started the riff in the song and then worked on it with Tommy and Nikki. And I'm like, man, I originally sang it, and then we had Vince do it. So I would like to
redo it with your
at least, you know what, at least do it in like a set. Like I would like to perform that song live. It was definitely this cool, trippy, had elements of the Beatles in it, but it was heavy. You know what I mean? So, there's things that I'd like to do. There's another song that we started to work on and never finished called The Year I Lived Today. And that I just always thought was such a great fucking riff. I want to do that as well. So I don't know if these are things that'll get worked up onto a recording or just worked up and just put into a set for live performances, but we'll see.
We'll see the later days, what you're saying in some form.
I would hope, because I have trouble letting go of things sometimes, and I always thought that some of those riffs were just fucking awesome, and there they sit. I just sit there and I look at them and I go, oh, I got to do something with these. They're great song riffs. So it's all good.
I brought up the ESP thing. You guys are always doing, usually the shows are like in the winter time when there's, slow periods, you guys are kind of like in lull periods, you guys do the ESP thing, but they're always overseas. How come never like over, U.S., Canada? I know you've done some Mexico dates, but, how about not, in your home country?
There's never been any, it's so weird. This is typical, no disrespect for the, I love America as well, but there's some things about America that I don't like. And, as far as the arts and music, and it's just weird. Like, this is one of the reasons why Union kind of just came to a slow halt. we came out with a record. There was a member from Kiss, a member from Motley Crue. We had all this thing going with us. We did a record, and then the record company went bankrupt, and then we started with a different label, and whatever. But there was no interest. We couldn't get MTV to add any videos. And then even as far as touring went, like if we wanted to go tour with the newer bands, bands that used to come and watch us, like Seven Dust and, John Connolly and Lejeune and Morgan Rose and all those guys, they come to me and they're like, dude, I fucking love, your Motley record and the Scream record. It's on our bus right now. And they loved Kiss. And so when Union would play, they would come and see us if we were in Atlanta, and they just loved the band. And they'd go, man, we'd love for you guys to open for us. You have to do a little heavier set. Great. We had the material. Mm-hmm. But then the promoters get involved and they go, well, wait a minute. Seven Dust and these guys are a bunch of 80s guys. Why would Seven Dust package up with an 80s band? Right. Now, on the flip side, Poison, Bret Michaels and those guys offered us 2 tours. And they said, we want you guys to open our tour for us. Okay, great. As soon as the promoters and everybody got involved again, they were like, well, wait a minute. Union is a new band. So with the 80s guys, we were a new band. With the new bands, we were an old band. Yeah. We couldn't win. So we just kind of walked up the middle. And I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, like our last tour that we did, we were actually drawing really great numbers of people into the clubs. Like, we played a place called Pops in St. Louis. It was sold out. It's like 1,800, 2,000 people. We were doing that in a place called Birch Hill in New Jersey. 1,800, 2,000 people, sold out. We had great, people come to see us at the clubs. We built that ourselves, but it just wasn't translating into record sales. And we just said, and it's the same, honestly, for ESP. We did this thing. There is no interest at all for ESP to play here, yet we just did 16 or 17 dates. We'll go over for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So we did like 5 shows in Germany. We were in Finland, Norway, 2 or 3 in Italy. We've played in Spain. We'll play all over the place. And all the shows, it's fucking insane. Like, we'll walk out on stage and there'll be 1,800 kids there. A couple of the places, Chuck Garrick and Eric Singer, right. We played some places that Alice Cooper plays in. Mm-hmm. And did not, like, obviously, I'm not taking anything away from Alice. I love Alice. Alice Cooper did really good business over there, and we were, like, not far behind him as far as, like, attendance and shit like that. So, we're getting, now I was just told recently that there was offers for us to come back again in the summer and actually do, like, Russia and the Scandinavian countries and all this other stuff. There's interest. But here, there's none. And it's that whole thing about MTV. I'm sorry, is this a long answer?
MTV.
No, it's just that. No, the whole like MTV. No, let's face it. Nickelback and all these bands that are out right now. That no band that's selling millions of records we wouldn't even know of them unless MTV and VH1 and all these guys were just plugging the shit out of them. But the thing of it is with MTV, it's like, it's things aren't the way they used to be back in the 70s and even in the 80s, where you do a record and the record company believed in you and was willing to give you, 2 or 3 records to work your audience and build a clientele. Now it's like, here's your record, do your record, throw it against the wall. If it sticks, you get another chance. If it doesn't stick, sorry. See ya. Talk to you later.